Right now we're talking books. Tuesdays we always talk books, and I'm sitting here with Audrey. Good morning, Audrey.
Morning, Marisa.
You good?
Good. Yourself?
I'm fantastic, thank you. And we're going to be discussing this book. It's called Pre-Marital Wisdom. What you need to know before you say I do. This book is written by Tafadzwa Chihwayi, Rwizi.
Yes.
What is this about? I know it's courtship, premarital counseling, and things like that, but what do I really need to know before I say I do? And just that I do.
So you know what? It's funny that, I mean, my pastor always says this, marriage is the least talked about subject, you know, like before. People always then talk about it, the difficulties, divorce and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to other subjects, finance, whatnot. But guess what? They say that marriage is the most important decision you'll ever make in your life, which will in turn even affect the way your job, your finances and all that. So it all emanates from marriage.
And I think obviously when people want to get married, they think about maybe the first month and it's all nice and rosy, but this is the rest of your life. What points does Tafadzwa bring out to help guide people on this journey for the rest of your life?
Okay, so what I like about this book, and I'm even glad he's writing a book too on it, I think people need to know before they jump into it. Because you know what, I think people just see each other, like, Marisa, today you're looking lovely. Someone sees you, they're like, oh, she's hot. And then next thing, oh yeah, let's get married. And then that's it. But there's so many other things. There's so many facets to you and to him. So people should know all this. And then one topic that I found interesting, he says, okay, so just the chapters, it's got 6 chapters. Knowing God and self, what couples overlook. So these are some of the things we're now talking about. Mixed bag. And this is talking about parents and other people.
Wow, that's quite interesting.
It is, because you've got your people, he's got his people. And then you know what? One of the statistics that I found interesting, they say that arranged marriages actually live longer than these marriages where you meet.
You find your person.
Yes.
Why is that though?
I think if you look at the Shona culture, you know, like back in the day, they would always say, Rorawe Matongo. Loosely translated, it means know someone that you know, well, their family and everything else, their beliefs, what they do.
I mean, isn't this a biblical principle anyways, where a wife was found for someone? You wouldn't just find a wife for yourself. So isn't that the way it should go?
Exactly.
But it's not happening that way, though,
Audrey.
No,
it's not. Because you find that if like what you're saying, you know, Isaac was sent to find a wife, you will then know that, okay, these people, their traditional beliefs, their spiritual beliefs are that, their families like that. So you know everything in advance. You know the number of siblings they have, etc. But then when you just meet in the street and then you assume that, you know, like the Hollywood style kind of romance that we see, and then you assume that this is what it's going to be. So that's why this book is very important.
It's very important, and I'm just reading through this the topic that the chapter that you're saying on a mixed bag, and one of the subheads, I think it says the impact of words is very important. And one other issue, Audrey, that is not talked about is the issue of sex and sex before marriage. What is this issue about now?
So obviously he's a pastor, so he's talking about definitely don't do it before marriage, because it comes with a lot of, you know, soul ties and a lot of issues. Then there's the issue of diseases, even unplanned pregnancies, etc. But then, according to the Bible, it should be done in a marriage, and it should be honored in that.
Exactly. Well, marriage is really something that it's a fight, literally. It's like warfare. You really have to be making sure that every day you're working on your marriage. What are some of the points that we can actually work on every day in our marriages?
Okay, so there's the issue of communication.
Right.
Then there's the issue of, like in one of the chapters, he spoke about where he says knowing God and knowing self. So number one, you also, as a person, you need to know your strengths, your weaknesses. And then there's also the issue of financial literacy, right? And then there's actually the acts of financing, budgeting, planning, investing, etc. Some statistics also say that finance is the number one at the top of the reason why marriages break.
Fail.
So it's either the lack of it or the abundance of it or the failure to manage it. So you need to know all these things, because imagine, like you're saying, we once reviewed that book about the weddings by
Marshall,
you know, and he was talking about imagine this. The guy thinks, the lady thinks the guy has lots of money. So she's ordering all these expensive things. And then the guy is afraid to actually be honest to tell her.
Andina,
and then imagine at the end of it, then they find out they can't pay, they can't honor, and then they end up begging relatives to step in. You know, that kind of thing.
It's just a terrible kind of cycle to be in. But you know, one of the other things, I mean, I'm looking through this book, is the issue of love languages. So a lot of people don't really understand that. I think traditionally we don't look at that, which, love, you want a hug, what's that? It's somebody's love language. Do you think that's something that is being honored in some of these marriages? Because we hear people are getting married and then they get divorced quickly. Is that part of because there are 5 love languages. Do you think that's being honored in marriages?
I think people think this is a foreign phenomenon, but it's actually real. I love this thing because, and we've spoken about it, you know, you can buy someone a car, but they don't value gifts.
Yes.
They want to be told that I love you.
Yes, or
they
spend quality time with someone.
Yes, they want someone to hold their hand with them while walking in the mall. But then, you know, we've got this other type of man who'll be like, but I provide. Come on, I've bought a car, I've bought a house, I've paid fees, the fridge is full,
exactly.
There's DSTV. What else does she want?
Yeah.
But she doesn't want that. Yes, she wants that, she needs it,
yeah.
but she would actually appreciate more.
More than that. And you know how it's a funny thing where they say, oh, you want me to say I love you? But I said I love you when we got married one. And that's like the only time you hear I love you. So people want words of affirmation. I know there's words of affirmation, there's gifts, there's quality time,
acts of service, and then the physical touch.
So those are the 5 love languages. There is a book on that. Maybe we should review that book on
Gary
5
Chapman.
Yes. Maybe we should actually review that book on one of our Tuesdays. Wow, it's absolutely, this book and it's such a great read. Very simple,
very short,
and very short. So you know, parenting styles. This is also something, especially when you have 2 people maybe that have had their own children before. Like I have my own, and if I meet somebody who has his own, how are we going to gel in parenting our children? Say I'm Nazi in that, and then he's gentle. How do we manage this?
So for me, I mean, this topic, to find it in here was actually, it was an aha moment that, you know what, before you say I do, you must actually even discuss parenting styles. And even he mentioned the fact that you must even discuss about the fact that what if you fail to have children?
Right.
That should be brought on the table before you even go there. Because we now find out that it becomes a reason for divorce to say...
And it weighs down on a marriage.
She couldn't conceive. But then you must talk about it before. Yeah. What if God doesn't bless us with children? Are we going to adopt? Are we going to stay like that? etc. Anyway, back to your parenting style. So I'm just reminded of the family guans. You know how, so you find that people have different methods. Some are authoritative, some are, laissez-faire, they're just rocking with the flow and things like that. But then you need to sort of balance. I mean, these days, children are also dealing with a lot.
Yeah,
and I think as a generation, we're actually failing these children. I don't know whether we got soft as parents or when we forgot our values, etc.
But it's just changing. It's a lot of internet is teaching our children how to actually be giving them more rights, and they're actually holding on to that and say, hey, I can make my own decisions at like 13. No, you can't.
There's also that, but I think the bigger reason that I've seen is like people are busy trying to make money, So people are busy on social media. The father is making money. The mother is also now making money. So the children don't have anyone to actually teach and implant all those values that we used to get back in the day.
Yeah.
So at the end, the children are depressed. And then they resort to these other issues. Like yesterday, I was hearing a statistic saying weed, 67% of the children of Zimbabwe, this is last year, have sampled weed.
Yeah.
That was shocking, 67%.
Yeah. It's very sad. And look, these are the issues, as he rightfully says, this should be discussed before in premarital counseling. And it's not something to be embarrassed about, because some people are embarrassed about these things. They're saying, oh, what if I say this and then he leaves me? Listen, he can leave you if he's not the right one for you, and it's not going to hurt because you're going to get the right one. And I think the issue of premarital counseling has been so misinterpreted because people think it's just a tool to break us up. It's a tool to equip you. It's a tool to guide you. And Tafadzwa really talks about these pertinent issues, deep issues. Tell us a little bit more about him, his profile, and where we can find this book.
Okay, so he's a master coach. He's one of the founders for the ICMF, the Coaching Foundation in Zimbabwe. He's a pastor with his own church. He's written 10 other books. And is involved with the youth and also marriage counseling. They had an online platform. So he's very passionate about such things.
Yeah.
And in the book, he even shares about how he dated just one woman before he then met his wife.
Right.
And they had to go through the counseling. And it was hard because they just, sort of sugarcoated most of the stuff. But it really helped them.
Yeah.
And that's why they have such a strong foundation.
Fantastic. Audrey, where do we buy this book?
So you can get it at the ICMF offices or you can get it direct from the author. He's available on all social media platforms. Tafadzwa, Chihwayi, Rwizi.
That's absolutely fantastic. Guys, this book is a must-have, especially when you are planning your journey for the rest of your life with your partner and the things that you really need to delve into to make your marriage work. Just $10 ICMF offices where you can find it. It's not an ebook online, no?
Not yet,
Not
but
yet.
he's actually working on it. He
Okay.
said, I did ask.
That's good. And there is a sequel to it as well. So that's something to look forward to. Audrey, thank you so much. We've run out of time. This is a great topic, and I just do hope we keep emphasizing. And obviously, you've read this book. Keep telling them what to do. Right.
Awesome.
So see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Konapo. Ipapo pa ZTN Prime. DSTV channel 294. The place to be.